Welcome to this episode of the Corporate Board, where I sit down and talk with global leaders and personalities. Today we're here with Saeed. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Let's get straight into it.
Sure.
Let's start with your morning, slowly, relaxing. How was your morning?
Morning was busy with the calls and a couple of meetings as usual. Some admin work, some emails and messages on the phone. But always talking to new people and learning new things with every call, every meeting. It's always good to meet new people.
Yeah. And I'm going to dive a little bit more into it. Right?
Sure.
So many people chase freedom, but only few understands what it actually means. How do you define freedom?
I think freedom is how you choose you would like to live your life and what code of ethics and morals you hold value and how you want to be leading your life the way you want it to be. I think when there's too many controls on your life for the wrong reasons, then it can be difficult to achieve things in your life that you set out to achieve. But I think freedom also comes with support from people around you, especially your family. And if you have that support, then they will give you the freedom to live your life the way you want to and explore new things the way you want to and so on. So I think there's freedom in terms of how you live your life, and then there's freedom of what you want to pursue in your life too.
Yeah.
And if there's too many obstacles in the way and not enough support to overcome those obstacles, then most people feel that they're not really free in their life.
Oh, yeah. So the support is huge. It's the most important thing. So if somebody observed your week, right, your life for a week,
Yes.
every move, every action, everything, what do you think would surprise them the most?
I think what would surprise them the most probably is that I'm not only focused on work, but I try to keep a work, family, and healthy lifestyle. So I think balance is key in life. And I think if you're working too much, that's not good for you. If you're working too little, it's not good for you. But finding the right balance so that you're also not just happy in your work life, but you're also happy with your family life. I think that's important because if you don't have stability in your family life, then more often than not, you won't get that stability in your work life too, and it will suffer as a consequence. So I think people will be surprised to hear that I play a lot of sports and I spend time with the family when I can, and I try not to work too much and exhaust myself, because if you're tired one day and you're overworking, then the next day is going to have a knock on effect, and it will just be a vicious cycle. So I think having some time to do things you enjoy doing other than work is very important too.
Yeah. We all carry this one principle, or this one thing that drives everything we do, both personal and business life. What is your thing?
I think finding something that you're passionate about, whether it's in your personal or your work life, whether it's work life, is finding an industry or a job or a career that you're actually really passionate about, because ultimately you're going to need a lot of motivation to be successful in your career. And I think with personal life, you should also, you know, uh, if it's a sport, for example, or a hobby, then you need to be passionate about it to really stand out against others, because there's a lot of competition in this world today. The population is, I think, 8 billion now. So there's a lot of competition for work, sports, activities, and you need to really be at your best to be successful.
Let's talk about a little bit more you and your career, right?
Yes.
You made a big change when you went from the biggest firms in the world to being an entrepreneur and starting your own thing.
Yes.
What triggered that move?
I think I was in the corporate side of things for a long time, and at the time I couldn't see the path to higher heights in my career in the corporate structure. So I just looked outside of that and just tried to find something new. And one of my close friends, he suggested that we start uh, a VC fund back in 2017. And when I looked into the asset class of that fund, which was blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies and digital assets, for me, it was something that I was really, really interested in. And I could see that there was a big future for the technology itself and for the market as well. So I decided to start a business with my friend. And since then, I've just tried to transition from corporate life to being an entrepreneur and having your own business and all the extra responsibilities that come with that. People think that being an entrepreneur is easier than working in a corporate life, but I think actually being in a stable corporate job is easier than having a successful business and a startup.
So what's like the biggest difference in this transition? What's the biggest difference between those two roles?
I think the biggest difference is that as an entrepreneur, you need to think outside the box more. You need to meet a lot more people. You need to be open to a lot of new ideas. Um, have a bit more flexibility than you would have in a corporate structure. So I think adjusting from that environment to being an entrepreneur is it takes time to adjust, but I think if you really want to do it and you really want to achieve it, then with hard work and time and effort, you can get there. So I think it's just both are have their pros and cons. But I feel that as an entrepreneur, if you achieve your targets and really produce a product or service that's being used a lot out there and is solving a problem, then it's very rewarding. But it's a lot more hard work, of course, and a lot more effort, but it's worth it in the end.
Yeah.
So it depends on your personality too. I think some people, they just prefer to have a steady, stable 9 to 5 job. Others find that boring and want to be always on the move, always on the go, always talking to people, and that's what an entrepreneur needs to do.
Yeah. It's a big difference, right? There's not it's a lot of differences and a lot of course pros and cons, right, in both worlds.
Definitely.
So let's talk a little bit about risk and courage, right? Can you tell me about a moment or situation, or a moment in your life where you had to choose between two very different paths,
Mhm.
and how did you choose that path you ended up going with, and how did it shape your journey from there?
Yeah, great question. So I think the turning point for me was when I was working in Abu Dhabi Investment Authority. I left ADIA in June 2018, and I started up, or I co-founded a startup a year before that. And then I was getting so busy with my business, it started affecting my time at my job in ADIA. And then the leadership team sat down with me and said that I had to choose between my business or my work in ADIA. I didn't make a decision quickly. But I spoke to all the people that I needed to speak to, including my father, to get their advice and guidance. And from all the feedback that I got at the time, I decided to focus on my business, and I left ADIA in June 2018 to focus on my own startup and my kind of journey into the cryptocurrency industry kept growing and growing, and I got busier and busier. So I think that was the turning point. But having the right advice from the right people was important to make the right decision.
Do you think it end up paying off in the end? Decision.
Yeah, I think the jury is still out. I think I need to achieve a lot more things to kind of prove that it was the right move. And I think the long term is when you should assess whether you're successful or not in anything. I think you need to make sure that you give it the time that it needs to have the right experience, and then you can judge. So, but I'm happier where I am now compared to before. So for me, it was always the right choice, and I've learned a lot over the years, and it's been a very exciting journey, and I'm still learning a lot and still looking forward to achieving more things in the industry.
Yeah, of course. I think this happiness is also a very important factor, and that
Sure.
was incredible. So let's talk a little bit about your position as board member and advisor, right? For startups and
Sure.
use many boards, right? When you look at these startups, what quality do you look after in a founder?
I think with the founder, I think it's important to see that they have the passion, the dedication, the motivation, um, the openness and willingness to take on advice and take on criticism if there is a need to criticize or give advice or kind of point out if something is not right or you feel it's not correct, and you voice your opinion. And you want to be working with people that appreciate what you're saying and appreciate your time and appreciate your point of view, even if it's different than what they want to see or their point of view.
Yeah.
So I think it's good for an entrepreneur to have support from advisors or board of directors to make sure that they're thinking of all the different angles in their business and their startup, and not just narrow-minded and tunnel vision view kind of where they're going, but just to keep them in check as they go along their journey. So I think being an advisor or board director is not as demanding as being an entrepreneur and running your own business, but it's also pretty important, and it's also good to give advice to people.
So let's talk a little bit about the future now, right?
Sure.
What do you think is the most rewarding and the most would you say like looked after job in 5 to 10 years, or skill?
I think with the way that technology is accelerating, especially with AI and blockchain technology and robotics and kind of metaverse and 3D kind of 3D printing, all of it is digital. So I think computer science or being able to code or develop a code or understanding how computers work, how databases work, how machine learning works, that's something for the future I think is going to be relied on more and more.
Yeah,
So I believe,
I think that's a nice vision. That's a nice.
I'm sure there's other important kind of
Yeah.
roles out there, but in general, having a very good understanding of computers and computer science and coding is very useful.
They're also taking over the world, right?
It's taken
It's
over.
yeah.
Sure.
So let's say you met a 20-year-old today. What advice would you give for anyone getting into the crypto world?
I think my best advice would be to start small, make all the mistakes you can make when you first start off, but better to have it in a controlled fashion. Um, Start small and work your way up. I think if you're doing the right things along the way, then you will be successful and you will kind of get to a high level. You don't need to start with a big amount or put a big amount at risk. I think very small amounts, just practice and get more experience and learn. And within a year or so, then you should have a much better idea of what you want to do in the industry and what interests you the most in the industry. Because with cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology, there's a lot of use cases in a lot of different industries. So the beauty about it is that you more often than not you will find something that's relevant to blockchain technology that you really find interesting and you want to do. So just learn as much as you can, make as many mistakes as you can, control your risk, and take advice from people that have been in the market for a long time, and talk to people, and just be open-minded.
Yeah, I think that's very important. Yeah. So let's stay on topic of the future, or actually the past, right? But when you were 19, 20, what were you chasing back then, and has that changed now to what you're chasing now?
I think when I was 19, 20, the focus at that time was to finish my university degree and then kind of find a job relevant to my degree. But ultimately, always on the long term, I always kind of had an entrepreneurial mindset, and I always felt that one day I would want to have my own business and my own startup. So eventually that happened.
Mm.
But at that young age, I just wanted to kind of have complete my education, find a stable and a good job, get some good experience from that, and then move on to bigger things after that.
Yeah.
Luckily, that happened. So
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
alhamdulillah.
So looking ahead, right, into the future again now, what excites you the most about the crypto?
I think the most exciting use case for me with the blockchain technology at the moment is the tokenization of real world assets. So, the tokenization of real estate, tokenization of gold, tokenization of equities, tokenization of treasury bills, tokenization of bonds. I think the currently access to the financial industry is pretty restricted, especially for people who don't have that much wealth and they want to start investing or they want to start trading. There's not really much options in the traditional financial world. But with cryptocurrencies and tokenization, I think that gives access to more people with lower budgets to be able to participate in the financial industry. So I believe there's going to be a lot of tokenization of assets. There's going to be a lot of interest in that because it facilitates the general population, facilitates them to do what large asset managers, billions and dollars worth of asset managers can do.
Yeah.
Now somebody who's a student can even, invest in a T-bill with $100, for example.
Yeah.
And that's possible with today's technology. But I think that's only going to scale up, and you're going to see a lot more of the intersection of traditional old world assets with blockchain technology and AI and emerging technologies.
Now we're gonna have another section, kind of a different section called rapid fire, where I say either this or either this.
Okay.
And then just say first thing this or this. Okay. Coffee or tea?
T.
Lose all your business knowledge, all your business connections.
No, it's a tough one. They're both equally important, but I would probably say business knowledge, because you can always regain that.
Yeah.
Whereas with connections, if you lose it, then you can't get it back either, I
Yeah.
think.
So early mornings or late nights?
Early mornings,
Stocks or crypto?
crypto, sure.
Employees who respect you or employees who love you?
Love you.
Success or peace of mind?
That's a tough one again. But depending on which stage of your life you're at, for now I'd say success, but maybe 10 years down the line, I'd probably say peace of mind. So, but for now, success.
Tactical planning or gut instinct?
I think gut instinct. Usually, I think if you can't decide between the two, then go with your guts and go with your instinct.
Yeah. Gold or real estate?
Real estate.
Everyone loves you, but you fail, or everyone doubts you, but you win?
Everyone loves you, but you fail.
Sum up your entire career in one word. Ah. It's tough.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I would probably say, well, it's two words, team player.
Team player. Okay. Yeah.
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 Teamwork.
Teamwork. Yeah. Okay. So this you can explain a little bit further.
Yes.
Finish the sentence. Success is.
Success is what you make of it. I think you have to set the target, which you set yourself. So that's what you make of it. So if you set a target and you achieve it, that's success. But also, I think it's important to set really very kind of high targets.
Ambitious.
At least if you don't quite make it there, then you still have something to aim to, and you still probably end up at a level higher than if you set the target lower.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always aim higher than
Aim higher, yeah, aim high, and hope for the best.
So that was the end of that section. Now I have 3 questions left. If you could have dinner with 3 people, dead or alive, who would it be?
One would be Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan, the first ruler of the UAE. I think he was a visionary, way ahead of his time. He went through so many experiences with creating the UAE, and he must have had a lot of obstacles, but the most motivation he must have had, and the passion he must have had, and the knowledge he must have acquired over the years would have been, for me personally, somebody that I would love to hear about. Second, Warren Buffett, because he's just kind of a legend in terms of entrepreneur, business, asset management, and he has a lot of very, very interesting podcasts and interviews and speaking. When he speaks, a lot of people listen. So I think it'd be very interesting to hear how he views the world, and what made him successful, and what lessons he learned to be where he is now.
So let's talk a little bit about legacy. What's one thing, when people look back at your legacy, you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for being one of the first Emiratis to develop the blockchain technology and cryptocurrency ecosystem in the UAE, and somebody who helped a lot of people become successful in the industry, and somebody who tried a new technology when everybody else was discrediting it. And I think my idol in my life is my father, and he's achieved a lot in the traditional finance world. So if I can achieve half of what he has in the blockchain and technology and cryptocurrency industry, then I'd be very happy.
Now it's time for the final question, man. If you could give your 20-year-old self one piece of advice, knowing everything you know now, what would it be?
It would be to have more discipline, and to have the correct priorities in life. I think having belief and faith in one creator or one God or in your religion is also important, and helps you to go on the right path in terms of morals and ethics. So I think being close to family, being disciplined, being close to your religion spiritually is important, and really kind of helps you out in your adult life and independent life, very much so.
Yeah, a great note to leave it on. Thank you so much for joining.
My pleasure.
Thanks for watching this episode of The Corporate Ball. Hope to see you next time. And extra thanks to our guest, Saeed, for joining us. It's been a pleasure. And remember, nothing is impossible.
True.
If you believe in it enough, it will happen.